Hello, hello. Welcome to Co-Creative No Code's office hours on this Monday, August 2nd, 2021. Jay is already with us. Hi, Jay.
Hi.
Welcome. And if this is your first time tuning into office hours, we do this every day of the week, Monday through Friday, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific time. We allow our members to bring any Bubble bugs, any Bubble feature requests, anything they want to talk about. Bubble is welcome on our office hours. And if you are not yet a member, you can look into that at cocreativenoCode.com. And then if you'd like to join us for a complimentary session just to see what it's all about, you can go ahead and comment on the live or send us an email at team@cocreativenoCode.com and we'll get you the link so you can come on and try us out and see what it's like. Jay is here and she's ready to go. She's already got stuff for us, so we'll go ahead and get started. I'll stop sharing. You can share. Although I did get our sandbox ready to go today for August.
Screen. Okay, so I've got two things. One is more important than the other. So this is for the sign-in process.
Mhm.
I want them to be able to I don't want a separate login and a separate sign in. I want them to put their stuff in, and then I want this to check that they are, whether or not we have their email or not.
Gotcha.
And if not, sign them in. So I've tried a few things, and this looks like it should work. Search for the users, count as 0, sign them up. And if not, if the count is 1, then log them in. As you can see, I've messed this up because I've been toying with it. What happens though is that when I do it, it checks, and then it doesn't. Hold on, I'll show you what it does. It's going through one and then the other.
Okay.
So when I try to sign in as an existing user, oops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then I do step by step. Everything looks good, except that then it's gone through both of those is what's happening. I'm in the second one now.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah. I tried uniting them in one workflow and that didn't work. And I tried terminate workflow just to see what that would do. It didn't do it.
Okay. Well, I have this working on another app, so let's take a look. Yeah.
I know it can be done. And I thought that the performance book had something about this, but I couldn't find it when I went to double check.
Yeah, let me find it.
The Ultimate Guide to Bubble Performance is what I'm talking about.
Yes. That's the only Bubble book I know of, honestly.
I knew that you knew what it was, but I figure if anyone's watching this later, they might think, what book?
Here we go. Here we go. So if you'll stop sharing, I will start sharing. And we can check out how I did this. This was actually one of the very first things I did in Bubble. And it took me like 2 days at the time because I was still not nearly where I am today. But so we have continue creates to create button, log in, log out, cancel. So let's just go through it and see what happens. So I have a log out button. And then I have a pop-up for sign up, log in. And depending on what's going on, I show these different groups. So current user isn't logged in. Here's what we show. Let's hide that for a second. Got it. Okay, so this is just like the onboarding process.
Yeah, right? And you're giving them 2 different buttons. So they're putting in, they've got one input set, which is nice. But
yeah, but I have it working so that if they click either one of these, it doesn't matter which one they click.
Oh.
Yeah, because people will look for the button because they're so used to it in other places, but actually the workflows on these are the same.
Oh, okay.
So if I go here and I look at this one, we have log the user in when search for users count as 1, or sign the user up when search for users count is less than 1.
Okay. I tried putting them together like that in the workflow and it didn't do its thing. Let me just give it another try.
Well, so one thing that might happen is I log the user in when the count is 1, because if you do the sign up first, after you do the sign up, then the search for the user exists. So it will like, do you know what I mean? So it's
yeah, and I tried. I tried putting them in different orders.
okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen. I'm going to try it again because who knows?
Okay. So that's how I did it, was if I stay logged in, remember, search for users count is 1, you log the user in, and then search for users count is less than 1. Both based on the email, I assume. Yeah.
Okay.
And then hide and set the state view. And then if they
Nope.
thinking. What is wrong with your app, Jay? Hi, Thomas, by the way. Welcome. Happy to see you.
Hi, ladies.
So let me stop sharing and you share your screen again. I feel like the aunt in My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and that's the second My Big Fat Greek Wedding reference on Co-Creative No Code's office hours. It's like, but when the guy she's marrying is a vegetarian, and and the aunt's like, what do you mean you don't eat no meat? And I feel like, what do you mean it's not working, Jay?
I'm gonna close this screen and start again because this isn't letting me even see. It's all kludged up. Give me a second. Okay, this I had disabled. I think that maybe it didn't, could it not have worked because my thing is kludged up? So that all looks right. Let me just check it one more time because I had disabled that workflow, but I'm wondering if maybe I only
Oh,
thought I
then it
did.
was logging you out. That would make sense if it's the same button.
No, it wasn't logging me out. It was saying we've already got, it was trying to sign me up when I'm an existing user. Okay. Run. Nope. There it is. So log the user in, okay. But then when it comes to sign the user up, even though the search for users count.
Go back to instead of saying is 0, say less than 1. Or sorry, sign the less than 1.
Search for users count less than 1. Nope.
All right, I'm gonna go back to mine and try it.
Yep.
Okay, so looks like I already have that one in there. Let's just try. So it looks like I'm signing up. I have no idea if I was there or not. Okay, so now I'm going to try again with the same one. And it worked. All right. So the first time that user didn't exist, the second time it did exist. So the workflow here was the button login was clicked only when search for users. Is this the only constraint you have on the user when you're searching for the user is the email?
I'm going to double check, but it should be. Yes.
Okay. And then count is 1. It should actually, I would probably prefer to put that as greater than 0. So search for users count is 1 because greater than 0. It's my preference to have that. Okay, then the next one is search for users with the email count is less than 1. Email, yes. Then this is just hiding and setting states. So if you have it exactly like this, where like the input is the email's value, the password is the password's value, I don't care about those so much. And then the search for users email equals the email value, count is greater than 0.
Yeah.
And then you have this one where you go ahead and sign up the user and search for users count as less than 1, then I don't know what's wrong. That's weird. I would maybe ask Bubble.
Yeah, I have found sometimes that when something should work and doesn't, that I just delete it and start from scratch and then it works.
The other, yeah, I might try that. Or then the other thing that you could do is instead of, well, but that wouldn't set their password though. So yeah, I think this is the way that I would go about it.
Okay. The other thing I have is not as important. So if Thomas, if you or anybody else has something that matters, I can wait. It's the CSS on the calendar.
I can wait.
Okay. Okay. Let me get over there. Okay. I have not, I don't use CS very much. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm sure it's something super obvious to someone who knows CSS a lot better or any better. I'm not to pretend I know CSS. I don't.
I'm not going to pretend that I know it either, even though I've done like, I don't know, 3 or 4 courses on it.
Usually I just copy paste, until it
Yep.
works.
Yep.
It's not working this time. And I just think that the problem is because I don't, I'm not understanding what, so here's what I have so far. And I think the problem is in how I'm defining this or how I'm naming this, but I don't know, because everything else looks okay. The style, the structure looks okay, I think, but this is not working. And when I preview it, and oops. here's all this, and then here's all this.
Okay, so you're wanting to change the color. Is that what's
Yeah, I
happening?
want to change the color of all these black things if I possibly can.
Okay.
And I actually would be fine with hiding this, but I don't care about that. I'm thinking about redoing the whole thing. It's not the most responsive calendar, you know. And then that guy has that little tutorial up somewhere on Bubble on the forum about how to build your own calendar.
Mhm.
I've tried it before. It didn't work great for me, but it was months ago. Maybe now it would be, you know, my skills are better. Maybe it would be better. But I just really want to, you know, don't want to spend a ton of time on something like this. I don't think this is not going to upset users that the color's gray. It just bothers me because it's not right.
Okay. Have you gotten any of your CSS to work on any of those elements? Like, have you been able to make any changes to them?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've only tried changing this and then the chevron.
Jay, can
Yeah?
you go back to your HTML editor? I think you have to call the actual function. It doesn't seem
Okay.
like you're actually calling it.
How
You
do
might
I
be
do that?
So like a div class equals tag, and then I think I'm not that familiar with CSS either, but I'm looking at one of my CSS elements, and it looks like I'm calling that specific thing for it to work.
Can you share your screen?
Yeah,
Sure.
that would be great.
So I have the tag.span, which is what I want, to happen, which is a little, yeah, it's just a little tag. And then below it, I'm actually calling this specific tag in this little situation here, which is parent groups, list of tags, name join. Maybe you have to do some sort of calling, obviously not this. I am not sure, but it looks like I am calling this situation here
Okay.
through this. Does that
Yes.
help out at all?
I'm going to see.
Do you want to share?
Yeah, sure. Okay, if I go look at it over here, I see the div class is called FC-toolbar chunk. So I'm going to add that in here.
Is a div class called outside or within this? Yeah, I guess. Because in my situation here, the div class is called outside of the style brackets. But in yours, the div class is within the style. Yeah.
It's not on purpose.
Yeah.
It's because I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Does the rest of it look okay to you?
I think the div class goes below. I might be mistaken though.
Goes below everything.
Yeah, I might be.
Does there need to be an end div, like a slash div?
Let me look at what I'm doing here. Yeah.
Then
There should, yeah, like there should be a closed div with a bracket and then div.
if we open and close the div down here, doesn't that make a difference? I mean, we're not encasing this in the div if we do it.
You might even have to space the function within the style. So like you have to tab it. So
Where?
that's like you actually have to space it like in the styling. Ooh, I don't know, to be honest. I'm just like observing what I have. But if I show you really quickly what I'm doing, Tonya, feel free to jump in if you know.
Tonya doesn't know this any better than you do. We are all peers in CSS, apparently.
I remember when I go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna call out any viewers, but it doesn't look like we have anybody live watching at the moment.
Because when I look at yours, what I think, I mean, what I see, I don't know. is that like this div class down there is how you're utilizing something that you've defined up here underneath at the top in your style section. Because I see
say that
that's
again?
where see like where you are now, div class
Yeah, right.
tag. You've defined the class called tag elsewhere, and now you're using it. So
Yeah,
the tag is where you've defined it up there, right?
yeah. And
So
then
I don't need the. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I spaced it here. I don't know if it has to do with the actual, because I'm actually changing the way elements look, but I spaced it here, and I remember I had not spaced it originally, and I couldn't get it to work until I spaced it. This little
You mean
space here.
that you tabbed it in?
Yeah, you have to tab it
Oh, that's super annoying,
so
isn't it?
that it lines up properly, so the thing's called properly. I
Okay.
might be mistaken though. It looks like you're running JavaScript. So
No, I just
no,
no.
okay. That's how much.
I don't think so.
But yeah, there is. It's a strange div. It's a div, and then within the div, because you have the div and then the close bracket div. But in this div, that's where you're calling the class tag. And
How
then
did you, when I tab, it just, I
I
can't
think
tab in that element. Did you cut and paste it from something else?
no, yeah, I see what's happening. Let me see how many spaces it is. I think you have to like actually manually 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 spaces.
Okay.
I will let you share.
Oh no, let me look at what you did.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
copying you.
Okay. I got you.
She's using your screen as
Yes.
reference.
I actually thank Greg John for this. He has a video on making tags look very pretty.
Oh, nice.
But unfortunately, I reached out to Bubble and they were telling me that HTML elements aren't like the actual element isn't very responsive. And that
Wait,
they
so wait a second. Are you doing this? Wait, because I want to make sure.
Sure.
Jay, are you doing this in an HTML element or are you
Yeah.
doing it? Okay, you are. Okay.
Am I not supposed to be?
No, just checking to make sure you're both working in the same type of thing.
Yeah, I am. And I also tried, I think it's Zero Code CSS Tools plugin. But the problem, I don't think, is the CSS. I mean, the problem is that I don't know CSS. Now that didn't work. What I did didn't work. I'll show you. If you want to stop, I'll show you what I did and you can tell me all the things you see wrong, which I'd be grateful for.
Gotcha.
I think that a big part of my problem is not understanding. Did I just share the right screen? Can you guys see what? Oh, never mind. I didn't share anything. Okay, there we go. So over here, it's wait, where'd it go? Okay, so here's what I'm trying to affect this gray thing it says today. So it says div class toolbar chunk. And then above it, it's got another class. I don't know which things I'm supposed to be working with.
Well, the other one seems like to be the container of all those.
I think, yeah, you can see it just got highlighted over there.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's what I want.
Wait, go back to your HTML element there, like on Bubble. I'm trying to see how you're actually affecting it. So where's the HTML element? Is it the today?
I'm sorry?
There you go. When you're using the HTML element, you're affecting that specific element. But it sounds like you want to change the today button up there. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're just by using the HTML element, you're only going to be able to run whatever you're trying to run on that empty.
I can't put it in the calendar.
I think I'm not sure how the calendar was built because it sounds like it's something that was pre-built already by Bubble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know what sort of flexibility they have on changing that. You might just have to build this from scratch. I might be mistaken though.
I did a bunch of searches on the forum and other places, looking, and a lot of people asked the question of how to change these, but nobody got an answer.
Yeah.
They
Can you
may be right. Mhm.
can you open the property editor for that element, the HTML calendar? What's going on here?
So you can change the calendar look, and you can change things, but you can't change these. There's no button for that. As you can see, everything down there is not calendar specific. So I've tried to go through and change a bunch of these, but no luck. And I tried conditions, but there's no way to access, that piece of it through a condition.
Isn't that sad? It's so silly and
Is
sad.
this bubble built?
Yes, this is
I
the
would
bubble
honestly
plugin.
I would honestly just reach out to customer support and be like, hey guys, I'm trying to do this and I can't find any answers.
Can you go to the plugin and show us?
Oh, it's a plugin. I thought it was an actual element that just is already there.
It's a bubble. What is it called? There we go. Full calendar. This is it. I didn't even think about looking at the documentation, but I'm pretty sure it's not in there. Actually, I did look at the documentation, and as you can see, it's not about customizing the look.
Have you tried other calendar plugins? Maybe one more customizable?
I looked, and I've just kind of gotten to the point where I really try whenever I'm not against it. I did look. I didn't see anything that I really wanted that was free, and I don't want to buy anything yet. I can always upgrade it later. But I like to stick with Bubble plugins whenever I can, because then if I have a problem, Bubble will help me, as opposed to saying talk to the plugin editor, maker, and then you gotta hope.
Yeah.
That they help. But unless it's a name that puts out a lot, like Zero Code, I wouldn't really expect an individual, some guy or some woman. They're not going to be that responsive. They still have jobs and stuff, So anyway, my point is I do try to generally stick to Bubble plugins because there's so many involved already, and just a website that doesn't have a ton of stuff. All right, those were my things for today. So to recap, basically.
So to recap, I wasn't able to help you with either of them.
All right. Appreciate the effort. You did suffer with me.
I did. I promise always. I might not know the answer, but you won't suffer alone.
Right.
Like Trudy and Steel Magnolias. No one cries alone here. Okay. Thomas, did you have something?
I do.
What's that?
More of a what do you think than it is a problem.
Ooh, okay.
Get to think.
Ask me for my 2 cents. I love it.
So, okay. Where are things? So I've made a submenu.
Okay.
It's a reusable element in itself, and this is the personal, what I have on the actual index page. When you go on personal reports, it shows you reports here.
Okay.
The submenu, which is its own reusable element. So the problem that I am having is that this pop-up here, I had to recreate it. I have 2 pop-ups doing the same thing essentially.
Okay.
And I'll explain to you what that means exactly. So I have a pop-up within this reusable element.
Okay.
Which is when you click the actual report.
Mm-hmm.
But then I had to separate the submenu pop-up from this reusable element because I couldn't communicate with it. So I ended up creating the same pop-up on this page.
Okay.
Or on the reusable element. So I have 2, separate reusable elements with the same pop-ups because I can't communicate with one or the other. What do you think about that?
Okay, so where's the first one coming from?
First one.
The first pop-up. Like, what do you click? Yeah, what do you click?
Is when I click here on the actual report, like on the actual white space.
And that's for editing the same report?
Yes.
Okay, and then what's the second pop-up for?
in this reusable, which it's a nested reusable within this reusable.
Right.
And I'm here and I'm editing the same thing.
Oh. Okay. So yeah, if you like the edit, like the 3-dot menu thing, then what I would do is I would put the workflow on the tile itself that opens up the one that's in the first reusable, and instead trigger a custom event from a reusable instead.
I tried that.
Okay.
And I wasn't able to communicate very strangely. I will do that. You said so create the custom workflow on the tab page here, right?
No. So you would trigger it from that page, but you wouldn't put it on that page. You'd put the custom event in the reusable, which you already have it. So go to the workflow where you are right now, go to the workflow section. So yeah, so you don't have any custom. So put your pop-up, whichever thing is to show a pop-up, like put the showing of a pop-up in a custom event.
Create the custom event on the submenu reusable.
On the submenu reusable, right.
So, and then what I want to do is, this is, okay, the custom event. Am I defining this here?
Uh-huh.
Just keep it simple for now. I guess that's pretty good there.
Yep.
And then show.
So first would be display data. In pop-up job post. Yep.
Yep, okay.
And then the next would be to show the pop-up. And now you can trigger that workflow from the other reusable.
I did this.
So yeah, you just created it on the wrong reusable is all.
Yeah, okay. I am triggering a workflow. What am I doing here? Okay. How am I triggering that exactly? I don't know why I'm.
No. So it's the tile itself. It was like you click anywhere in the tile. Yeah. So now what you want to do is instead of those things, you want to trigger a custom event from a reusable. So custom events at the bottom there, trigger custom event from a, yep.
Okay. So what I did, I was just doing it inversely.
Right, exactly. So you can trigger custom events from reusables within a page or within a reusable. So from a page to a reusable, or from a reusable to a reusable that's in the reusable, but not the other way around.
Gotcha.
Like you can't from a reusable call a custom workflow from a page, and you can't in a reusable call a custom event from a reusable that's like outside of it, that's holding it, right? Gotcha. So, which, I had never thought through before just now, but it makes sense in a way. Yay, I'm not useless.
Okay, I may have accidentally done something wrong here. So this is not working right now.
So yeah. So what you need to do is go to the reusable itself.
Which one?
Go to the
one with the tab.
Go to the repeating group. Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
And then click on the reusable element within there. Nope. Back in the design page. Click on that. Yep. And then the parent group's job post. Okay, so that's true. So why wouldn't that work? Because that's the only place you have that reusable showing, right?
The submenu?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's only on this page. And
Okay.
then,
And
the
then,
submenu should probably erase this job post. Pop up. Maybe I have to do something on the edit button.
maybe, let's see. Oh, was it working from the tile and it wasn't working from the menu?
So
Slow down because you
yeah,
like it keeps switching, so I can't tell what's happening.
so I'll go back to personal job posts and I will just open the workflow on this.
Oh, you have to say what the workflow thing is. There you go. Now it should work. Is it not working?
No. So the event. Oh, that's right. Because I erased it in the sub menu. I shouldn't have done that. Because the pop-up is showing on the sub menu. What I should have done is I should have erased it on personal.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Let's see.
As long as you know.
I do. There you are. So now I need to go in here and erase this pop-up. Looks good. Beautiful. Cool. That's awesome. Thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
I got a little confused there.
I,
I was like, how does this not work?
yeah, it happens.
And I knew you were going to say that replicating that same thing, I just felt like it wasn't the right way to do it. That's why I needed to ask. Now, I have another question if
Yes.
nobody else has a question.
Go for it.
Okay. I'm trying to remember what the question is. Fuzzy search. Okay. So we spoke a while back about stacking things
Mhm.
and how you don't prefer them and that you prefer collapsing them and, it's individual groups atop of one another.
Yes.
I couldn't quite, maybe I just didn't, I had been doing so much on the app. Maybe I just gave up too early on that and focused on something else. But I'm doing that thing. I'm stacking right here. And
Okay.
I'm stacking when I'm searching so that it displays like right on top of it. Does that make sense? I take it it's not necessary for me to do that?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Okay. So my question is does this look right? I'm
No.
stacking. It doesn't. Okay. How would you suggest I do it?
Okay. When I say stacking, I mean vertically stacking
Yeah.
as opposed to depth stacking. So, like with very few exceptions, there's not elements on top of elements, reusable or not, in my pages. So, like I might have a page that's 30,000 pixels tall because of all of the groups that are stacked vertically, one on top of the other. And one group will show at a time and everything else will be collapsed. So the page height from the user perspective will just be the height of whichever group is currently shown on the page.
Kind of lost you there.
Can I show you an example?
Sure.
Because I've got,
You happen to have it open?
yeah, I have it open.
Perfect.
So this is, you guys have all seen these. This is one of the ways people can upload information. So this is the first group. there's the second group right beneath it, and it's touching, and so on and so forth down through all of these. And each one is set up as no display on page load. But when I want it to show, then whatever trigger, whatever element I'm using to trigger that, in this case, it's these arrows. The workflow will say set state of an element, and the element's the page that I'm setting the state on. And it'll say, like in this case, these are just numbered. So go to step is a number. And so this says set custom state, go to step to 3. Or whatever the number is where it's going. And then back here in the design, this guy is set to only be visible when go to step is 4. And in the meantime, they're just hidden and they're collapsed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but in your page, it seems like when they're pressing the arrow, that's when the interaction is occurring, right?
Yeah.
So in my situation, it's the moment that they type in the input.
Right, and it's just setting either a state or something so that the groups know which group to show at that time, which you already have, right? It's just it looks like you have them overlapping each other vertically, and that's what I say don't do.
Yeah, I know you wouldn't like that. So yeah, okay. So I was trying to think of how to do that the easiest way. Now, does it make sense if I would use custom states in the case that I refresh the page?
No.
Yeah, so I want to avoid that. How?
Yeah, so the way that we do it, and I can show you with a Canvas example. Hey, Calum.
Hey, beautiful people.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks. All right, I'm gonna go back to close this one, and go back to my August sandbox. Started my August sandbox and I already have it registered with Canvas. So I could just go ahead and add a new page and we'll just go with the simple portal. So we'll add this page. We'll call it portal.
I definitely think if I sat there, I had spent like the whole weekend mostly refactoring things.
Mhm.
And then I got to this towards the end.
Mhm.
And I was like, should I just ask Tonya?
Yes, you could just ask Tonya, that's fine. And then I'm gonna add some blocks to the page. So what you're looking at here, this section is empty, right? I have lots of placeholders for menu items on the side. It's all working, because if I go to preview page, nothing will load on the page, but I'll see all of these menu items. Right, so I'm in the home tab, and then I can switch to the friends calendar, go to manage, set reminders. So all of these tabs are already working, right? So now I have to add some groups here. And so in the Canvas way we do it is we go to group main page content. I'm just showing you, you don't actually have to do this when you're working with Canvas. It's this container right here that doesn't contain anything right now. So the blocks container is only 40 pixels high. And I'm going to put all of my blocks in here stacked vertically, one on top of each other. And then I'm going to hide them on page load and show them when the URL parameter is the right one, right? And that way, when I click refresh, like right now, this doesn't go away. This doesn't disappear. It maintains through refresh. And that's what the question you were kind of asking there. So if I go to add a block on the page, we'll say, okay, I want to add this block because it doesn't really matter which it is.
So in this case, it sounds like using URL parameters is what you suggest.
Yes, it is.
So I can call that URL parameter the moment a user types in input then.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so the condition is when that input is not empty, then you'll navigate to the page with a different URL parameter.
Gotcha. Okay. Navigate to the page? Okay.
Yeah, because that's how you change. Go to page is how you change parameters.
Yeah.
So it doesn't refresh the page, it just changes the parameters.
Right. And that would collapse because it's a group that's displaying the search results. Yeah, so I would just call the group. I get it. Okay.
Yep. And so here you have, like, you can see, I don't know why this is bigger.
Yeah, I know exactly.
By 15%, but you can see this blocks container is the height is now, it went from 40 to 910. And so if I keep adding it, but what I want to do is I want to take this repeating group. Let's see here. I want to take this one and I would put the conditional here that only when I get tab on its main nav one. No, not main nav 10, main nav 1. One's text, and then element will be visible, and otherwise it will be hidden and collapsed. So now if I preview, I'll actually have something showing on page load. But it'll disappear when I switch the tabs, right? Now, where you really start to see how this works is when I do another one, when I put add this block in. So now you can see this is my original block, and this is the second block that I entered, right? That I added. So this is right on top of this, or right below it, right? And it's not at all overlapped, not even by a pixel. And that's what we're aiming for. And so what I would do from here is I would just make the conditional a different tab. And it doesn't matter, should I say it doesn't matter? It only matters the order in which these groups are on the page if you're showing more than one group at a time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got you perfectly.
Yeah, because if you rearrange everything, but you're only showing one thing at a time, it doesn't matter if you put the 10th thing at the top and the 11th thing at the bottom and 1 and 2 and 3 in between. That doesn't matter until you're showing multiple groups at the same time. Then you would need them to be in order.
Gotcha. Yeah, so my problem was that I had literally just forgotten something that I had done on the whole page.
Which is?
Which is just grouping that display group of results into a group, setting the URL parameter and then calling it when the input was not empty. And in this case, not focused.
Gotcha.
So I do.
So it's working now?
Yeah, I'll do it later, but I know exactly what I gotta do.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
No worries.
I'm
Same.
actually having a problem with that exact thing.
Okay. Let me
Can you-
just,
Maybe a pair of fresh eyes would be helpful.
yeah, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
show like home and friends now show different things. But I don't have to scroll down to see friends, even though the friends section here is actually further down on the page, because this section here just collapses up. So when I click here and this one is shown, it's in the same place essentially. All right, I'll stop sharing and let's just check in with Calum real quick. Calum, did you need anything today?
Yeah.
You do? Is that cool,
Yeah.
Jay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Hang on, actually, 2 secs. Okay, he needs 45 minutes. Cool. All right. So let me just share my screen. I don't know if you'll be able to fix this because it's a. Oh, hang on, no. It's a weird one because I'm not entirely sure why it's happening, and it's a plugin problem though. So, you see here, I've now got it rendering thing. So, by Tonya, what's your website? www.co-creative-no-code, yeah?
Yep.
Code.com. Is that right?
That's right.
Cool. And then we will let's just take that. No, we'll just do that one there. Okay, cool. So if we use that and then we pop it in here, everyone should visit this site.
Should join.
Sorry, my apologies. Literally no users will love that. There we go. And I put the co-creative no code in there and then I post it to what will be worldwide. Click post. Yeah, thing. Damn. Okay. Anyway, it's not rendered for some stupid reason. That doesn't matter. That's not the problem. The problem is, you see this down here. It's trying to put a color of some kind in.
That's
But
weird.
Don't know why. And the weirdest part is if we go to the database and look at the actual post that's been created, it will show, because we're extracting a list of URLs and we're showing the first one, and we're rendering the first one. But if we go to posts and then look at all that we just created, it's not put any hex code before it.
Okay.
So I can't work
it's
out.
It's like a regular expression is doing it.
Yeah, but I can't work out where the hex code's coming from, because the only thing I can think is cancel that and then go to the right post. There is something here. Yeah, this here. So extract A. So we've got a BB code link in there as well, but I've tried removing that. I can't work out, is that the same? So 00A5. No, so it's not even the same. So but this is the extractor that's extracting the links.
Okay.
Do you know if there's another way to extract links from text? Because I know Bubble can automatically recognize a link, but I couldn't find any way natively within Bubble to actually extract that link from the text to render the. I guess you could use a regex. Do you know?
Yeah, you could use a regular expression to do that. Not that I know exactly how that works, but well, I mean, I know exactly how it works. I just don't know how to get it to work in this exact situation. But you can you could borrow a copy someone else's that's got it working.
So I would do, I guess, the way the post is set up. So if I go to
wherever you have your link previewer thing that you're using, then you would use the text and extract.
So the value, so the value here instead of URL parameter, it would be.
Aren't you using a draft anyway? So by the time they is it auto bound or no?
Good question.
Because then you should just use the URL itself. You don't need to do any extracting. Or yeah,
Uh,
you do, because you have to get the first one.
Well, I have to get the first, but I also have to get the URL out of the text because it's if someone puts the URL in a piece of text, it's not necessarily just a URL. So I'm guessing here it will be parents group posts text. Post text.
Yeah, but you showed me in the database that you're saving the link and it's saving correctly. So couldn't you just reference that? If it's
No,
auto bound or no?
No, that's what it was referencing. So that's
Okay.
exactly what it's referencing. That's why I'm so confused because there's nothing in there that said. So that's it. Parents groups posts links first item.
What's the conditional on the link preview?
Only do it when. So obviously we don't want it to show up if because if someone drops a link into a post that is also about a group, we want the group, the shared group to show up and not the link preview. So we're basically saying only show it if those aren't true and link posts first item is not entered.
Got it.
Yeah. Oh, I also have an update on the drag and drop group thing. They are fantastic. They work brilliantly unless, and I cannot stress this enough, unless you are putting a repeating group inside one of them, you need virtual scrolling, in which case virtual scrolling does not work. It's the weirdest thing though, because it works for a scrolling multi-line input. So you can scroll a multi-line input, but you can't scroll a repeating group for some reason. I cannot work out why. I spoke to Bubble about it as well, and they were like, yeah. I was like, I don't know if this is. So you can see that scrolls, and I can drag it down. But then as soon as I go to, it might work because I'm doing it on PC. But as soon as I go to, where else do I have a phone group? Oh, there we go. So connections. No, it doesn't work. Yeah. Anyway, I can't scroll that even though there's not more than one. I'll go to friends. There we go. And I should have it. Yeah. Oh, okay. It's working on here because I'm scrolling with the mouse. But yeah, that scroll doesn't work dragging your finger on mobile because that is that. I spoke to Bubble about it and they went, yeah, there's nothing to do about it because it's more of a feature than a bug.
Huh.
Annoying.
Well, I guess that makes sense though. If it's like, if you have the draggable element, like waiting for input for dragging and you're trying to scroll, which is a dragging motion.
That I get.
I get.
The bit that I don't get is how they managed to make it work with this, with the but with multi-line input scrolling, because that is a fixed height multi-line input. So you're using exactly the same motion to scroll through the text, and it works perfectly. And it won't drag if you're on that, and it recognizes it, but it doesn't recognize the repeating group. I put a post up in the what I also is I put a post up in the Bubble forum and said, or in the group and said, is there a way to make the only bit draggable this up here? And someone suggested, well, when make it only draggable when this is pressed, but I couldn't get that working either. It just didn't seem to like it for some reason.
Well, thank you for sharing the limitations of dragging.
All right.
That's such a drag. Cheesy puns always make Calum laugh.
Come on, you're grating on me now.
All right, Jay. What you got for me?
Oops.
I'd just like to take a moment and say that you all, y'all are the highlight of my day. I'm from North Carolina. I can say that.
So this is currently the index screen, and this is home. That's what you see. And this is what it's supposed to be. There's 5 blocks. Then when you go to stuff or social or whatever, you see different blocks, but it's still the same blocks. And these are created by, oops. With conditionals.
Okay.
So for instance, when index of services is yes, or there's a parameter, it's a different thing. Then you see a different image, and the same is applied to all of these elements. This is the only element that's different because it's the extra one. So this one is by the group. If the if the state is this or the parameter is that, it's not visible, except for if the state is home and the parameter is home. So where that is showing up incorrectly is from here. Each of these takes you back to the home page and it sends a parameter. So if we watch on services, what's going to happen is this is still showing up and it's the same for all of them. And I can't understand why, because it's working everywhere else.
Okay, show me the conditionals again.
Where is it? A, and this one's completely hidden. Like you didn't even see that before. It's just a placeholder, but here's the parameters. So services is yes, tab, and I checked.
Okay, go to appearance first. Sorry, I did
That's
ask for the
all right.
conditionals, but I changed my mind. Okay, so the element is not visible on page load. Okay, and go to the conditionals. And then move that. So you don't need any of the ones where the element is not visible because it's already not visible on page load. You
Yeah.
only need the one where that makes it visible.
It was showing up. So I put them in there to just kind of reinforce it to bubble that it shouldn't show them, and it was working, so I left it.
Okay.
But I will try getting rid of them because why not? Maybe it's confusing them. Nope. Services is the tab. So it should not be showing. Did I lose you guys?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Indexes home is yes, or get tab from page URL is home. Should that be an and?
No,
Okay.
because if they don't come from a different page, then they don't have this. This is only one they've already, this is normally how they would see it.
But I mean, isn't that the index home is yes, like the state? Because it'll show every time the index home is yes. Unless you put the and there.
But when someone first comes to the site, there isn't a parameter set yet. I mean, I could set one. So right now it's when the page is loaded, the state is set.
Yeah, so it's always going to show on that page because the conditional that you have says or, so it will happen whenever the index home is yes. So when the page is loaded, you're setting that state to yes, so it's automatically showing it.
But that's when it should show. It shouldn't show otherwise. Like
it should.
No. So when they log in, when they first come to visit, this is what they're supposed to see. Home. Yeah, this is what they're supposed to see. These are the main sections of the site. So this is what they see when they come visit the first time or any time.
Okay.
Before they've moved through the site.
But every time you load that page, you put that state equal to yes. So it's going to show every time. So what I'm saying is you
Yeah.
either have to change that conditional or remove it. Because if it's showing when you don't want it to show, it's because you set that state every time you go back to that page, that state is getting set again. Because it's being done on the page load.
I'm a little behind you. Let me think about what you just said.
Okay, go back to the conditionals of it again.
Mhm.
So you, on your index, you have it on the page load, you have it set the home to yes.
Oh, yes. Gotcha. All right, I understand.
Okay, that's why
Thank
that's
you.
happening. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. I just need to figure out a different angle to come at it.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Yep, no worries. All right. Oh, I guess Calum had to go. He took off. Did he say goodbye? Or did he just leave?
Straight up dipped out.
He just straight up left. I'll give him some heck about that. Don't just leave me.
So what I should probably do is instead make on page load to set that, no, because that's going to do it every time too. So what I should do is hide it on all other instances. That must be why I hit it to start with.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other
So
thing you could do is you could set a state after you set it to home equals yes. You could set a state home equals something else when that tab is not empty. Or do you understand what I mean?
No, I'm behind you again.
Okay, so if you go back to your workflows, you could set a different state. So you can set it every page load where I don't have the tab defined for that, the tab that says services or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, if that's empty, then you want to set home equals yes. And then you could set a different state if that tab isn't empty.
So that would be an only when type of conditional.
Or I would just do it on page load. I would set it yes if that tab is like, I don't know all of the things that you're trying to account for, so I could be wrong, but you could set it yes if that tab is empty and no if it's not empty. And then you could have different things happen based on that.
Right. So I just set that up. I'm going to try it. So if Bubble sees that the tab doesn't exist, is that the same to it as empty?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'll be playing around with that. That's helpful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
I've got more. Sorry.
That's okay. It's a big
finishing
Monday.
up my list. I went through, as I think I mentioned on Friday, I went through my list with my VA on Thursday. I mean, I just had her walk through the site and I watched her. And I had a really big, a good section, a good bunch of pages of little stuff and some not so little stuff to fix, as I expected. And I don't have a problem. I fixed them all. So over the weekend, I whittled through the list, and all that's left are some hassle things I'm going to fix up this week. But there's something that I came across that I got it working, but I'm not sure that, sometimes I don't like to take shortcuts. I want things to work right and be stable. And I'm not sure if the way I did this, just because it works, is good enough. So this is the Friends Center, where they can see, waiting requests as well as suggestions and their current friends, just what you'd expect. So this is the problem, or maybe it's not a problem. I don't know. I kind of wonder if I'm just being too weird about it. Like, if it works, it works. So friends, every user has a list of friends, and those are added when a request is accepted. And before that, to create a friend request, you just create one. invite them or whatever, and you get this. This is all working fine. But getting this to display was weird. So what I ended up doing was making this type users, doing a search for users, unique ID. So it's current user, and then just showing the list of friend requests creator, and it works. But in the tutorial that I used to base the system on, he's got this pretty complicated expression, which is the current user's list of friend requests minus the current user, etc. And even though it looked perfectly logical, it would only show the recipient, not the creator. So I went and did this. What do you think of this? Like, am I going to be sorry that I did this later?
So you're doing search for users where the user's
The current
unique
user.
ID is equal to the current user's unique ID. Okay. And then is it a nested repeating group? So you have a repeating group in that?
No, it's just a simple repeating group that shows the user's list of friend requests, whoever's created them. So
Okay, show me what it looks like on the page.
okay, I don't have any at the moment as this user. Let me be a different user.
Yeah.
Shaggy and dog, I think. Yeah, this is as it should be. I'm just
Okay.
wondering if I made a mistake that won't scale. I mean, I built those lists. I want to use them. And I'm kind of thinking, is this a cheat? Is it a shortcut? Is it a mistake?
So there's only one friend request. It's the friend request waiting. That's the part that we're looking at. Okay.
Yeah, this is all we're looking at. And this is
So what happens if we have more than one?
Then they show up in a list. There would be two here instead of just one, and it works. I tested.
And that's not a repeating group inside of the repeating group. I'm just trying to understand, because you're only going to have one user that has your unique ID. So I don't understand how you're going to have multiple things in there, because there should only be like your list should only be one cell if your repeating group is searching for a list of users with the unique ID, unless there's something else to that search. I mean, if you have it working, you have it working. And I wouldn't be too upset with it in terms of your original question is like, should I redo this because it's wrong? It's not wrong if it's working in this case. It looks like a simple enough search, but I don't understand why it's working.
Maybe
Can we test it with another one and see what it looks like with two?
Yeah, maybe I thought I tested it and maybe I made a mistake. Who knows? I'm going to be you. And
Yay.
Yay. And I'm going to friend.
Will you be me for the rest of the day?
No. Let's see which user. Oh, it's got to be this one. Invite. Okay. So now you've invited this other user. Let me get rid of that. And now I'm going to run as that user again. Ah, it didn't work. Okay. So I understand now. I need to put a repeating group in the repeating group to display the list.
But maybe not. I mean, if you ignore that one, does it bring up the other one? Or if you accept it, does it bring up the other one because it changes the status of it?
It gets rid of both. Looks like accepted both.
Ah, okay. Yeah. So
okay. All right, I understand. I need to put a repeating group. Yeah, gotcha. All right, that was my other bigger thing. I can fix that. That one I feel I have a handle on now.
awesome. Thomas, anything else for today?
Are we doing build alone?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, do you remember that in the last 2 calls ago, we talked about the messenger in the bottom right corner
Mm-hmm.
with the 3 little
I
pop-ups?
do.
Do you want to try giving that a go, or?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, thank you for keeping track for me. I always appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, so I'm gonna start from scratch here, and I'm not gonna worry about, am I gonna worry about it, or should I go back? Let's go back. We were in June's. June sandbox. There we go.
If
And
you
we might
intend-
have just messed it up so badly that I need to like revert the app. So group chat.
I don't know if you intend to share or not, but
Oh yeah, I'm not sharing. Thank you. I appreciate the reminder. Yes, always let me know. I do that about 100 times a day. I'm on Zooms like all day, every day. Oh, I remember we were having trouble. I was having trouble getting this into reusable. So I think, yeah, I just want to start from scratch.
sweet.
And you can make it, I'll invite you here and you can make it pretty as I go.
Gotcha. Julia Thomas at Gmail.
Okay. So we'll go here and I'll create a chat reusable. And probably want to make a group. I'll make it. I don't know why 380 is looking huge to me, but we'll make it 350 to start. Okay. So this is my chat reusable and I have a group chat in it. And within there, I want to have my repeating group. So my chat itself is going to be a type thread. And such thread is going to have a list of users. Isn't this weird?
What are you guys building?
We're building, so the inspiration for this, correct me if I'm wrong, Thomas, but the inspiration is Facebook's Messenger within Facebook, not in Messenger. So if I go to, let's see, if I choose one of these here, like here, you see how these are here and here?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we're trying to do is like recreate this functionality that we have messages coming from the left, or sorry, from the right and then going out to the left. So that's what we'll do. Cancel. Oh, I'm in option sets. I didn't realize there was an option set, so that's why I
Mhm.
got so confused. I was like, what is happening here? Here we go. This is a data type, not an option set, thread and message. And then the thread will be users of type user list. And then the message will spell it correctly, and we'll add users, which will also be a list of users, and thread, which will be of type thread. So what you're seeing me get a little bit confused on is Canvas just recently changed, and they made everything that's Canvas related have these gears.
Little icon. Yeah.
Yeah, the little icon, which is helpful, but it's like the first time my eyes are ever seeing it. So, and then this will be the text, which will be of type text. Right. And then that's as fancy as I want to go with the messenger. So now I need a repeating group in here. So the data type of the chat is going to be a thread. Here. And then the date, then within my group, I want a repeating group that's searching for messages. I'll leave some space up there for like a header or something. So this is going to be message, and we'll do a search for messages where the thread equals the reusables thread. Parent groups thing, and then we'll set the parent groups thing to be okay. So what are my issues here? So now on my portal page, I want a floating group, I think. Our group, how do I want to do it? Just do it on a different page. Does anybody else torture themselves like that?
What do you mean?
Just go back and forth trying to get the pixels right instead of just
Oh.
going in and making it right.
Oh my god, I can't. Like I'll like zoom in, hoping that I'll get it right.
It's just funny. Just me being lazy, I guess. but inefficiently lazy, as I would call it.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is my group. I want my group to be transparent. So let me test that by making the background of the page green. And then, yeah, so this looks like it's transparent the way that I want it. So that's good. Then I want a repeating group. And I want it to be horizontal. Scrolling, repeating group. I want a fixed number. We'll do 3. I don't know if that's wide enough. We can test. All right. So I'm just going to test something real quick. I'm going to put a group here and see how wide it is. Nope, not quite wide enough. Thomas, would you mind making our reusable only 319 across?
Gotcha.
Thanks. And so
With 319? Okay.
Exactly. So actually I will draw that group in there. Because this will not be visible and we will collapse this and it's hidden. And we probably need to make the content within it even less than 319. So probably 300 or
300. Gotcha.
or 299, because that'll give us what, 20 pixels, so 10 pixels on either side, which will separate these by 20 pixels, I hope.
So the repeating group 299?
Yeah. And then centered.
Yep, gotcha.
And so what I'm thinking to do here, so we're going to do the content will be thread. So I'm going to have a type of content here be a thread, and we'll do, but instead of doing a search for anything, we're just going to have, I think, a state on the page. So not a URL parameter, but a state on the page.
So why is state?
And
Why is state not a URL parameter?
well, so I'm actually going to I'm not going to ever load. I don't want to load chats on the page. I want someone to be able to either when they receive a message, it pops up, or if they go to a message and select it, it pops up, and then they can close out of them.
Gotcha. Yeah, because it's a page interaction. So
Yeah.
what if, would there be any problems if I say refresh the page with the messenger?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I am not mad at it. because there would be like on Facebook here, like there's a button here where you can find your most recent messages, right? And then when you click it, it's going to open it back up in here. Does that make sense? Like the reason that we don't like to do that in general on a portal page or something is because if someone clicks refresh because something's hanging up, then it will refresh and it'll load the information right where they are. But they're not going to lose any of their information because when they click send, that message is created and it's stored in the database. And we're not at risk for them not knowing how to get that information back on the page, and it's quick and easy. Whereas if I was going to do a bunch of states and everything on like what's showing on the page, and I refresh and I lose all of those states, then I have to go like I'd have to start from scratch and do like possibly 5 or 6 actions to get back to where I was. Does that answer your question as to why?
Kind of.
Yeah. I mean, we could save it in the database. I mean, if Facebook was running on Bubble, I would say that's probably what they do, because I notice when I come back to a page, they tend to have the messages that I had recently up already on the page. But I don't mind it like the other way.
So if you refresh the page in the state, I guess reset in this case, what would happen would be
It'll just hide the messages that you did have open, and you'll have to go back and open the one you want.
So like I'll have to click a button
Yeah.
to expand it. That's not a big deal.
No.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
So
Pretty cool.
threads, and then this will be of type thread, and it'll be a list. And then for the repeating group, this will be chat testings threads to item 3. Oh, I know, group thread, hang on, clear. I was looking for the repeating group. There we go. All right. And themselves thread. Looking for chat. Oh, I must have. There we go. And then we probably want, I'm going to make some test data for us.
Sure.
I don't know why I'm bothering with this. Since Canvas already has it built in, I should use it. Are you working on anything in particular right now?
Me?
Yeah.
As in on the app or
Yeah, on the app or
on
no?
my app?
No, on mine. On
Oh,
the Sandbox app.
I haven't really. I'm just gonna just style it a
Okay, you're
little
just watching. Okay, cool.
bit. Yeah.
I'm gonna sign up a few users. So. Oh, sorry. It's the one. Let's see. Tonya. All right.
Oh, so you're just gonna pass information through the admin portal? What you're trying to do?
No, I'm creating users so we have users to chat with, and yeah, so we
Gotcha.
can create threads and stuff. So
Gotcha.
I think one more user should be good. I'm so lost. Market. Okay, so we've got 4 users to test with. So that should be enough to test all 3 that we want to show on the page. And then on the chat page itself, then I want to have a repeating group. Oh, you changed the background color.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We could actually like
Remove it.
no, let's leave it because then it'll show what I'm trying to show. I need an X button to close the chat. So in the reusable itself, if you want to put like an X or
Gotcha.
something to hide it.
In the reusable. Okay.
Yep, in the reusable, and I'll do the workflow in a moment. So I want a repeating group here to show me other users. So user, do a search for all users whose role is not admin. Just gonna go to the data here and make sure my privacy doesn't prevent me from doing that. Self, and it would. So I'm gonna take this out for now. That'll work. Okay. So then text here. Users first, last. Group this, add a group. Here we go, and I'm going to create a new thread where users add current users add parent groups user. Only when a search for a thread. One. So chat testings, threads. Plus item. Or we'll have to test and see if there's enough time for this. Users contains current user, users contains parent groups users, first item. States, testing threads, value is testing threads minus item. Do you see what I'm doing here or no?
You know, I was busy.
Testings,
time.
it's okay, no worries. Count
No.
is greater than 3. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a new thread if it doesn't exist, right? Because we have to be able to create threads to show a thread. And then I'm setting the thread's state to add this thread, but I did it through a search because if this one doesn't have one, it's because it already exists, and this will find the first item and populate it. And then this one, I'm subtracting the first item from the list if there's more than 3 in the list after this one is done. And the reason I'm doing that is because if we tack it on to the end, it'll never show unless we remove one. Right? Because the maximum that we can show on the screen is 3, the way we currently have it. Okay. And then how are you doing on the chat reusable? Okay, so now all we have is the repeating group. So I'm gonna make it a little smaller here. So we can have an input. And a button. Okay. And then here. Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
And then here, want to. I put it on the reusable. Maybe should have put all the threads and stuff, the threads one in the reusable instead as a state.
Would that make things faster?
Trying to think. No, just because the click of this icon here is going to remove this thread from that list. And I don't think I can't access that page's state from this button because it's on the reusable itself.
Gotcha.
So
Can't access it. You can't, I guess, yeah, you can't really, can't trigger a custom, I guess, no.
no, because this is the custom. So I
Okay.
think if I want. Let me go to the page itself. The workflow. Create new thread. Doing this on chat testing, but maybe what I want to do it instead is reusable itself. Nope, his reusables in a repeating group. Maybe I want to do it on group A. No. Group user. Okay, we're gonna hack it. We're just gonna put the X button here instead. So, icon here. You can make it prettier if you want. Here, what we want to do is set state.
If I replace by another type that icon,
Yep,
Is
it
that-
should work.
it should
Yep.
work.
Because I put the workflow on the group holding the icon, so it should be fine. And then this group. I'll just delete it from the reusable. Okay. I don't see it on this one, but I see it on these. So I wonder if we'll see it or not. I think so, because it should be on top of it.
Transparent group.
Yeah, there we go. That's all I need. I just needed to send it back one. So there it is. All right, so let's run this as someone and see where we are. Start debugging. We're to the point where we can start debugging. So I'm going to run this as myself. So that looks right. That's what I want. I can't tell that there's any evidence of a group on my page here. So this is me. I don't want to do a chat with myself. So I'll do a chat with Meredith. And there's something here. I see this, but I don't see the reusable group that we made. So if I click here, yeah, I can tell that something's showing, the group is showing that's got this X in it.
Yeah.
And then if I click here, there's a second one, and I click here, there's a third one. So ostensibly it's working. Like at least the sections here, right? So that's cool. Now what we want to see is if we can get that.
Because since no messages have been created, maybe.
Yes, that's actually exactly what's happening. The threads exist, but no message was created at the same time. So let's just hack it a little bit and go when we click the group thread is clicked, set states here, create a new thread. And then also we'll insert an action here actually. Here, we'll create a new message. New message equals, oh, that's not going to work. That's dynamic, and I don't want a dynamic because it's text. Let me know when you're done.
Okay, go ahead.
That did not work. So my data, check my data. Let's look for messages, privacy rules, publicly, so it shouldn't have a problem with that. So created that. And then parent groups thread. Chat. Search for messages where the thread equals parent groups thread. Right. And then this group. And the reusable itself. So the group here is visible on page load. It's want visible. And I know it sees there are threads there.
The group threads on the index,
Mhm.
that do you intended to keep that not visible
Where?
on the index of, or yeah, the chat testing, pardon me.
Chat testing?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
says it's
so
visible.
they're not, yeah, so you're right, I need to show them is what it is. So, yeah, so when I do this, when the group thread set this did here, create a new thread, show. The group thread, hang on, how did I do this again?
Yeah, it
This
was
is
just-
A, and then within A, I have repeating group, and then group thread
Yep, that's the one.
is hidden. Okay, so this element is visible on page load. No, hang on. This is a reusable chat, right? So this element, so the group that's holding this, first payment, first parent, this is not visible. So this element is visible on page load. So we want that. Because we're making these visible and not visible by adding and removing groups. So good catch. Well done, Thomas.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to do a lot of chatting. And then here. And here. And then we could probably put the name of the chat up here, and we can probably not do it if, like, not repeat them. Do you know what I mean? Like, make it so that I can't see two of the same one.
Oh yeah.
But basically, this is what I was intending to make, right? So now I can add to this chat. Right, and so I can fix this so this clears out automatically. And then the other person can send it, but this is what I wanted. And then if I click this, it should hide it. I'll want to reverse the repeating group so that it starts on the right instead of on the left. But yeah, we did it.
We
Yeah. Woohoo. I love doing build alongs. So what should we should refine this next time, maybe?
Yeah, let's refine it.
Okay, cool. We'll get the little bugginess worked out and make it look really nice. Maybe, yeah, that's fun.
I love doing the styling. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate it because otherwise it looks, I mean, it might be awesome in functionality, but it could look like crap without you for sure, because I don't bother. Awesome. Anything else from either Jay or Thomas today?
Not today. If you, on Wednesday, if you have time, I would love help with the Friend Center because it's still not where it needs to be.
Okay, sure.
Thanks.
Absolutely. No worries. Well, thank you both, Thomas and Jay, and also Calum for joining us, and Kim as always. Kim was vaccinated today. I hope you feel better, Kim.
I'm not feeling so hot.
I know. Go rest. Go get some rest. All right, we will be back here tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific time for office hours. If you would like to join us for a complimentary session, join us live on the Zoom. You can go ahead and comment on the live here or send an email to team@cocreativenocode.com and we'll get you that link so you can join up with us. We offer a complimentary session for all members of Co-Creative No Code's Facebook group. We are, so thank you, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.